USC in at the center. Then it's DeRozan, and it's Williams at the 4. And for Los Angeles, Russell Westbrook out there with Kent Bazemore. And it's center, the most dominant physical presence in the NBA, the elite defensive big man, Dwight Howard. Then it's LeBron James, and it's Davis in at the 4 slot.
Guys, how about the Bulls being able to nab the 5th seed in the East last season, in large part due to how they were able to play on the road? Of course, when you play tough, solid defense like they do, it makes it easier to be competitive and string together road wins.
Passes it to DeRozan, fires for 3, and the shot is good. And for the Bulls, defense is one of the few things in the NBA that can neutralize a home court advantage. And Steve, a big part of why they had the success they had on the road.
Yeah, they went 21-20 away from the United Center, and one of only 5 teams in the entire East who managed to stay above 500 away from home. That's a real tribute to this team and the coaching staff.
And out of bounds as the Lakers gain possession. Chicago on defense. It's a 3-point game. Westbrook kicks to Davis. Westbrook. LeBron dishes to Bazemore. It's Davis on the wing. The pass to Bazemore. Just 4 to shoot. For 3, Westbrook. Another miss by Westbrook. Chicago with the ball. Let's go quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
Yes, Frank Vogel and I got a chance to talk for a bit. Well, he talked about how tough a matchup the Bulls are for any team because of their defense. He said Coach Thibodeau really knows how to prevent an offense from doing what they want. The Bulls are experts in taking away options. If we're going to win, we'll have to find a lot of different ways to get points. Indeed they will, guys.
And thank you for that, Doris. Just around a minute and a half into the first quarter.
Anthony Davis, the #1 overall pick in 2012. An interesting note here, guys. He and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist were the first college teammates ever to be selected with the first and second picks of the draft. Bet you guys didn't know that.
Gotta love it. Almost surprised that he had that much room to work with.
And out of bounds as the Bulls gain possession.
A temporary lapse of focus from him on that turnover. It's embarrassing, but on occasion it does happen.
1:16 left in the first. And Clark, you mentioned the 2012 draft. Also, when you look at Davis and MKG and then Bradley Beal, also the first time that 3 college freshmen, Steve, went 1, 2, and 3.
And not to mention all 3 players coming from the SEC.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, strange, but a lot of promise from that draft. A lot of good talent, and I think it bodes well for the league going forward.
Outside Westbrook puts up a 3. Yes, and it's LeBron picking up the assist. Westbrook's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. Up top, DeRozan, covered by LeBron. Vucevic with the bucket.
The screenplay worked ideally there, and I'm not talking about the screenplay you see in a movie theater. Gave him more than enough room to get that shot off.
Now here's LeBron. High, arcing shot. Excellent D from DeRozan. Chicago leading by 3. The dish to Williams. Back to DeRozan. Good ball movement here by the Bulls. Here's Ball. And the Bulls another 3.
Kevin, you look at how they've built this lead, and one reason is their outstanding shooting from beyond the arc. That's always a weapon.
LeBron outside. The kick out to Westbrook. There's the feed to Davis. Back to LeBron from downtown. And it's the buzzer beater.
Oh, what a 3 at the horn. They end the quarter on a high note. What a big shot.
I'll say that'll put a little bounce in their step coming back out of this break.
So at the end of 1 quarter of play, still a close game. It's Chicago. They lead by 3. Live from the Staples Center, you're watching 2K Sports. And we welcome you back to more NBA action. Players looking hydrated and plenty of Gatorade to help them get their job done tonight. What do you guys think so far about the offensive approach for Chicago?
Now, they didn't waste any time getting into a groove out there. They're dialed in from long range.
Also, what passing we've seen from them here early. I mean, there could be a big number in the assist column if this keeps up.
Well, you look at the Lakers' struggles last season, I think it surprised most of us. You know, some of it was injuries. Part of it was just a lack of production off the bench. Then there was the inconsistency of the coaching and just the number of different people who are on that bench. So, difficult season for the Lakers.
It's rebounded by LaRusso.
When he's wide open like that, he'll rarely miss those.
The screen from Brown. Kicks it out to Jones. Brown outside. Dishes it to White. Here's the 3. The shot's good. Brown making the play. White's got the second quarter going with the first basket of the period for Chicago. And you look at the struggles of the Lakers bench last season when injury struck. They didn't have the players really to fill that void.
Yeah. You know, Kevin, I think for the Lakers, the bold strokes for the star players have been impressive, but it's the fine details of finding undervalued role players. That's where they've been lacking. Once injuries happen, that was thrown into sharp relief. And really, even when healthy, to win a title, you can't just have a great starting 5. We know that. You need another 4 or 5 players you can count on to give you quality minutes.
And here is Los Angeles now. They trail by 6. It's Carmelo Anthony on the wing. He kicks to Jordan. Shot clock at 6. Here's Rondo. That's blocked. It's going to be out of bounds. Los Angeles will retain possession. And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Guys, dominant centers often take a pounding with intentional fouls. Dwight Howard admits that for a long time, he'd get frustrated when he didn't get the calls from the officials. And from 2010 to 2011, he led the league in technical fouls. The last 2 seasons, he's dialed it down. But he did draw criticism for getting kicked out of a game in the playoffs. He said, "When I allow those petty things to get to me, it affects my teammates and we lose games. I've got to do a better job of keeping my composure, to affect the game and not let the game affect me." Guys, he's made strides, but he's got to continue to put that perspective into action.
Well, Dora, it's interesting how that mental discipline and training can help sometimes as much as the physical side. Thank you. We're closing in on 2 minutes played here in the second quarter. Brown the pass to White. It's stolen by Ariza. Reeves, defended by Jones. Reeves the pass to Ariza. Clock at 6. 9. And again, it's the Lakers from deep.
Well, you can't leave him alone, especially from long range.
Here's LaRusso. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. Tipped. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Bulls will retain possession. Chicago making some changes. Vucevic checked in for Bradley. Green comes in for Brown. And Thomas subbed in for White. Ariza against Green. Feeds it to Vucevic. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2. That one's on Anthony.
Well, this guy's an animal on the glass, Kevin. I mean, there may be some bigger and stronger rebounds in the NBA, but nobody plays with this kind of energy and zeal.
And he can wipe that offensive glass too, Steve. I mean, he turns a whole lot of misses into makes.
And he can't get the first one.
Boy, I tell you, the Bulls showed how resilient they could be without Derrick Rose last season. They played competitive basketball, but up against the Western Conference, they just didn't quite have the same punch. Got beat up pretty good out west.
White, he's checked in for Chicago. Good on the second free throw. And back to the Bulls against the West. Not sure what exactly their shortcomings were, but in the end, Steve, they were only able to win 11 games out of the 30 they played out of conference.
You know, the Bulls were a team that could win games on grit and toughness, but the West was a lot more talented last year than the East. And so some nights Chicago just kind of ran into reality, and they didn't have enough talent to deal with some of those Western teams.
It's rebounded by Vucevic. Chicago's gone 4-6 from outside the arc tonight. Thomas kicks to Vucevic. Pass to White. And some nice ball movement here by Chicago. Fires from the corner. It's rebounded by Reeves.
Can't get a much better look than that, though.
Sure can't. Not one you'd expect him to miss there.
And that misses. That would have put him up. And we're through two here and a good one. Bulls lead by 1. And coming up after the break, it'll be Damon Bruce breaking down all the highlights from the first half of play.
Now, presented by Sprint.
Welcome to 2K Sports. It's been a great Sunday of basketball so far. We've seen the Bulls slugging it out. Through 2 quarters, their offense has been simply unstoppable. Bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket, you get it. Nikola Vucevic making a big contribution. They aren't exactly eye-catching numbers, but don't be fooled. He's came to play and he's leading them towards victory in this one. Not to be outdone, the Lakers also giving it their all. They've done a great job closing out their defensive possessions, grabbing boards, great rebounding. The first half a productive one for LeBron. And Russell Westbrook's also been getting it done. And that'll wrap things up for me here in the studio. Second half is just around the corner. Thanks so much for stopping by.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
A view here of the skyline over Los Angeles, California, as we welcome you back. Here's Westbrook. Back to LeBron. He dishes it to Westbrook. Bazemore. In low to Howard. And Bazemore kicks to Westbrook. Shot clock at 5. For the lead. Cannot hit. Nice D from Vucevic. Chicago leading.
And, you know, for the Lakers last season, a lot of turmoil. And you think about the coaching change, but it wasn't just that. It was a whole system change as well. And the front office felt the Princeton offense they started using wasn't working out. So they were in a state of flux all season long.
Now LeBron after the missed 3 from Ball. LeBron kicks to Westbrook. Yes, that's LeBron picking up the assist. And that's now 6 points for Russell Westbrook. And a minute played as the second half gets going. And going back to the Princeton offense that Clark mentioned, Steve, tell us about that offense and why do you think it didn't work out?
Well, they only gave it 5 games, Kevin. I mean, Mike Brown was 1-4 when he got fired. And that's impossible to install an offense and expect it to work that quickly. So, I mean, I think the offense would have been fine if they had given it time and given Mike Brown some time to install it.
So, timeout called here, the first for Los Angeles. .149 left to play in the third. The Lakers trail. LeBron dishes to Howard. Bazemore. Outside Westbrook. Right side, Westbrook. Swiped away. Pass to Levin. Ball, the pass to DeRozan. Williams inside. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Well, the Bulls battled in last year's postseason. Got a Game 7 win in Brooklyn to sneak out of round 1 in what was one of the more interesting series of the first round, but then fell to the Heat in round 2.
That's good from Williams. And for the Bulls, no Rose the whole time, and they had questions constantly being asked if he would return, but the team came together, Steve, and showed the Bulls aren't just a one-man show.
You know, they missed him, though, Kevin, and desperately. I thought they performed admirably, but they really needed him against the Heat. They were able to steal Game 1 in that Eastern Conference semifinal matchup, but without him, the Bulls just didn't have enough firepower to beat Miami.
You know, last season, an NBA owner, and we won't name who it was, mentioned that the Lakers could potentially amnesty Kobe Bryant. Now, he knew that he is still a top shooting guard and plays like a superstar, but his contract really is up there at almost $30 million this season.
Seems to me that anytime the game is on the line, he's perfectly willing to be the hero, or the GOAT for that matter. And that's what it takes to be clutch in big situations. You can't be afraid to fail.
And something else he has on his resume are his ball skills. What a ball handler and dribbler. I mean, he looks like he was born with a basketball in his hands. It looks like it's part of his body.
He feeds it to Westbrook. Kicks it to Bazemore. Pass to LeBron. The dish now to Westbrook. Here's Bazemore with his first shot attempt. No good off the back of the rim. Well, we know the Lakers have got, Steve, a lot of issues with their camp. It's only going to get worse this year and continue to spiral in the wrong direction. There's even been talk among the writers that cover the Lakers about the possibility of amnestying Kobe Bryant.
I can't imagine. I mean, he's played his entire 17-year career here in LA, 5 championships, one of the all-time great Lakers. But it's a cap question. Do they want to spend all that money for a player who's going to miss a lot of the regular season with that Achilles injury?
And now we're 3 minutes into the third quarter of play. Here's Ball. No good trying to beat the buzzer. We're at the end of the third, and we've still got a close one. Lakers ahead. They lead by 2. Live from the Staples Center, you're watching 2K Sports. We've got a great game on our hands as we welcome you back. The fourth quarter of action getting started. And a moment to look at the scoring approach in terms of where the points are coming from for the Lakers.
How about the three-point shooting we're seeing so far, guys? Amazing.
You know, something else I've noticed is just how many of their baskets have been set up by assists throughout the game.
The shot's good from Levin.
Very effective screen to set up the jumper. That was the key to that play.
And here's Westbrook from the arc. Here's Howard. Well, it was only a matter of time, but they finally get the bucket.
Nothing too fancy, just simple execution. That's getting the job done when they need to make every possession count.
I agree, Clark. They need stops, and they can't afford any wasted possessions. Those inside shots are really high percentage looks.
So it's Chicago now, following the basket by Dwight Howard. And that one's good. And the Bulls lead by 1.
Terrible defense for both teams, just atrocious.
Yeah, it's been awful, Steve. I don't know any other way to say it, and I'm sure both teams will get an earful from their coaches.
And here's Rondo, following the 3 from Ball. Rondo kicks to Davis. Vucevic on him. Davis down low, defended by Vucevic. And Davis can't get it to go.
You just assume he's going to knock those down when he's as open as he was there.
The shot's good from Levin.
It is so hard to contain him. He just seems to get it done however he has to do it.
Timeout called the Lakers. They're behind by 3. 1:53 left in the fourth quarter. Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
I was able to listen in on what Frank Vogel had to say to his team. With a deficit as we approach the final buzzer, he stayed upbeat, saying, listen, we can battle back, fellas. Just stay with me. I need all-out effort here, and we can bring it home. Fellas?
And the Lakers making a change here. Bazemore is checked in. Just over a minute played here in the fourth. Westbrook kicks to Davis. The pass to LeBron. Nice ball movement here by the Lakers. Fires from deep. And that comes off the assist by Dwight Howard. 6 points for LeBron.
He's such a clutch shooter, Kevin. He just lives for the big shot.
The Bulls have gotten all three of their shots to drop here in the fourth quarter. They came out of the break on a roll. DeRozan against LeBron. And DeRozan. Here we go. Ball to pass to Vucevic. And so it looks like the Bulls will retain possession here.
A super defensive play. I mean, if that pass gets through, it's probably 2 points.
And he knew that. He knew if it gets through, it's a score. So that's why he sold out for it and got a hand on it.
Just about 1.5 minutes gone by here in the fourth. 5 on the clock. Here's Ball. No good. Westbrook with the nice D there.
Well, those chances are almost always 2 points for him. I guess the defense did what it had to do to bother him.
Davis dishes to Bazemore. Back to Davis. Now the feed to Bazemore. LeBron to Bazemore. Outside, Davis. The Lakers need to get a shot off here. Nails the trade.
That is a clutch shot if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, very gutsy there. What more can you say? He got it done at the best time.
And so here is Chicago. This is to Vucevic. Yes! And what a sensational bucket to bring them within one.
Whoa, that's a big shot right there.
And that one really took the air out of this crowd.
Kevin, the silence is deafening.
Here's Bazemore. Back to LeBron. DeRozan defending. LeBron to Bazemore. Feeds to Westbrook. Misses the three. Chicago calls timeout. They trail by 1. 19 seconds left in the fourth. Guys, what's your take?
No need to rush things, although I think you do want to get a shot off in time to the point where if you miss it, you got a shot in an offensive rebound.
Well, if you got a play in your quiver that gets you a good shot, one you've been saving all game, now's the time to use it.
What an opportunity here.
Boy, a chance to take the lead. Huge right here.
Lane passes to Williams. He passes to Levin. He kicks it to DeRozan. Bullseye!
Really good awareness right there on the assist.
Timeout called the Lakers. They're losing by 2. Just 2 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. Here's LeBron. Oh, the all-or-nothing shot, no good. And so the big win by Chicago in a tight game. And Clark, you know, it was quite a nail-biter.
Yeah, it was tight. Their guys were able to come up with big plays down the stretch, and that's the difference.
Thanks for joining us for this presentation of NBA basketball on 2K Sports. For Doris Burke, Steve Kerr, and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan saying see you next time. But first, let's check out the Jordan player of the game.